Hey guys, this is the Galaxy S9. It was released in 2018 and was Samsung's flagship phone for that year. It's a pretty nice phone still in 2022, and we're going to be going over this phone. It's got a nice display, but there is one big problem, which I'll go over later. But the main difference between this and the S8 is actually the camera and the fingerprint reader. On the Galaxy S8, as I mentioned in my 2020 review, the fingerprint scanner was pretty bad. It was positioned in a terrible place, but the S9 fixes that pretty much perfectly. Except you might still bump your finger into the camera and smudge it up, but you can just clean it off pretty easily. The screen has one big issue though. It's way too narrow, meaning the keyboard itself is way too hard to type on. And that's one of the key things of a phone, the keyboard. So for this reason alone, this might be a deal breaker. I know it is for me, because it's just too hard to type on this accurately, since the keyboard is so narrow and hard to type on. There's no key spacing, if I'm being honest. Anyways, besides that, the screen is nice. It's OLED and it does have the Edge display, which you either like or you don't. Personally, I think it's okay. And it has some cool features like the heart rate sensor and the dual aperture camera, which Samsung later removed. It has the headphone jack still, if you care about that, and it has USB-C, which is a very nice feature, still found on modern phones. It's water resistant, but I wouldn't trust that since all these devices are old, and it has wireless charging and a glass back. The battery's pretty decent, and I think that for a lot of people it will last all day, but for some people it might be a bit too small, which is why I might recommend the S9 Plus, especially if you want that better keyboard. And the phone looks really nice, and I do recommend this phone if you want a nice phone for a camera, since the camera is just good on this. It's got dual aperture, as I said. It's only a single lens, but that doesn't really make anything of a difference, since it is a good lens. And overall, this phone has a good design, a good camera, decent battery, and nice features. So what is there to talk about that's bad on this phone? Well, one thing is the software. It's limited to Android 10, which was released in 2019. The iPhone 10, released a few months before this phone, is still getting the most recent version of iOS, and will get the most recent version of iOS for a good amount of years. So this phone is still stuck on a very old version of Android with a security patch from August of 2021, so I don't think it's really worth it just because of that. And you can find this phone for around $100 to $150 depending on which model you want. It's just not really worth it when you can go out and buy something like an A20, which you can easily find for around the same price, which will get you a more up-to-date version of Android and will likely give you a better experience. Or you can just go buy an iPhone 10 or something like that for a bit more, and you will get a better experience with software-wise and a better display, at least in my opinion, and honestly a better camera too. That's why I don't really recommend this phone. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.